Clinical trials offer access to cutting-edge treatments that aren't yet available outside of research settings. For mesothelioma patients, a trial might provide options beyond standard chemotherapy and immunotherapy. But clinical trials also involve uncertainty. You're participating in research where the outcome isn't guaranteed. Today, I want to help you think through whether a clinical trial makes sense for your situation, what the benefits and risks are, and how to make an informed decision. I'm Terri Oppenheimer. I've been writing about mesothelioma and asbestos for the website mesothelioma.net for over a decade. I'm not a physician and this is not medical advice, but having a good understanding of clinical trials will help you evaluate this option if it's available. So let's start with what clinical trials actually are. A clinical trial is a research study testing whether a new treatment is safe and effective. Trials go through phases. Phase 1 trials test safety and dosing in small numbers of patients, usually 20 to 40 people. Phase 2 trials test whether the treatment shows signs of working and continues to be safe in larger groups, maybe 50 to 100. Phase 3 trials compare the new treatment to standard treatment in large, randomized studies that include hundreds of patients. For mesothelioma, there are trials testing new chemotherapy drugs or combinations, novel immunotherapy approaches beyond the currently approved drugs, targeted therapies that attack specific molecular features of mesothelioma, gene therapy approaches, oncolytic viruses that infect and kill cancer cells, and combinations of different treatment types. Why would you consider a clinical trial? The most compelling reason is having access to potentially better treatments before they're widely available. The immunotherapy drugs now standard for mesothelioma, nivolumab, ipilimumab, pembrolizumab, I can never pronounce it, were only available through clinical trials before FDA approval. Patients who enrolled in those trials got access years before other patients could. Now, before I go on, I'm going to take a break and ask you a quick favor. If you find these videos helpful, please hit the like and subscribe buttons below because it makes it easier for other people who need this information to find us. And if you have questions or there's a topic you'd like to see addressed in a future video, send me a note in the comments section. And please make sure you watch until the end because that's where I'll give you valuable information on where to find resources that will make a real difference for you. Now, here are a few things you need to know about clinical trials. First, they provide very close medical monitoring. You'll have frequent appointments, detailed testing, and attentive care from research teams whose members are very invested in your outcomes. You're contributing to research that could help future patients, even if it doesn't end up helping you personally. For some patients, this in and of itself provides enough meaning and purpose to get involved. You also need to know that trials are generally only available at specialized centers with extensive mesothelioma expertise. This gives you access to this level of knowledge, but it also means you may have to go to those centers even if you wouldn't normally travel there. What are the potential downsides? The experimental treatment might not work. That's why it's being tested. The researchers don't know whether it's effective or not. The treatment might have unexpected side effects that weren't seen in earlier testing. And clinical trials do require frequent visits to the trial site, which can be annoying if you live far away. So, Chloe's here. Some trials are randomized, meaning you might be assigned to receive standard treatment rather than the experimental treatment. You won't know which you're getting. Insurance might not cover all the costs associated with clinical trials, though most insurance covers the standard care portions. And specific trials might have strict eligibility criteria that exclude you based on what treatments you've already received, other health conditions, or your disease characteristics. How do you decide if a trial is right for you? Consider your current treatment situation. If you're newly diagnosed and you haven't received any treatment yet, should you start with a standard proven treatment or jump into a trial? For first-line treatment, starting with proven therapies like immunotherapy combinations might make sense unless the trial is testing something that's very promising. If you've exhausted standard treatments and they didn't work or stopped working, clinical trials become more attractive because you have fewer proven options left. But make sure you understand what's being tested. Is it a completely new approach or a modification of existing treatments? What have early results shown? Is this a phase 1 trial where safety is still being established, or a phase 3 trial comparing the treatment that's already shown promise as compared to standard care? Consider logistics. Can you travel to the trial site regularly for the required appointments? Do you have support from family or friends to help with this? What's your risk tolerance? Some patients are willing to try experimental treatments with uncertain outcomes. Others prefer sticking with proven approaches, even if they're not perfect. So, what are your goals? If you're hoping to maximize every possible day of survival and you're willing to accept risks and burdens to pursue that, clinical trials might align with your goals. If you're prioritizing quality of life and minimizing medical interventions, standard care might be more appropriate. Important questions to ask about any clinical trial include: what's being tested and why do researchers think it might work? What phase is the trial? What have earlier phases shown? What are the potential benefits and risks based on what's known so far? What does participation involve? Meaning, how often do I need to come in? What tests are required? How long does treatment last? Is this randomized? And if so, what are the treatment arms? Could I end up receiving standard treatment or even a placebo? What happens if the treatment doesn't work or I have serious side effects? She's back. Can I stop and pursue other treatments? If it's a blinded trial, will I ever know what treatment I received? What costs will my insurance cover versus what the trial covers? And who do I contact if I have problems or questions? One important point: participating in a clinical trial is always voluntary. You can withdraw at any time if you change your mind, develop intolerable side effects, or if the treatment isn't working. You are not locked in. Still, don't let anyone pressure you into enrolling in a trial. This should be your informed decision based on understanding the details and weighing them against your situation and your goals. Also, understand that clinical trials have eligibility criteria for good reasons. If a trial excludes patients with certain prior treatments or certain disease characteristics, it's because including those patients would make it impossible to interpret the researcher's results. If you don't meet eligibility criteria for a particular trial, it doesn't mean you're out of options. It means that specific trial isn't designed for your situation. How do you find clinical trials? Ask your oncologist what trials are available at their center or other centers they work with. Or you can search clinicaltrials.gov, which is the official registry of clinical trials, using search terms like mesothelioma. You can contact mesothelioma advocacy organizations that maintain lists of current trials. Get evaluated at specialized mesothelioma centers, which are more likely to offer trial options than community oncology practices. Should everyone with mesothelioma enroll in a clinical trial? No. Clinical trials are one option among several, and they're not right for everyone. For some patients at some points in their disease course, trials offer the best hope for effective treatment, but for others, standard proven treatments are the better choice. To review, should you sign up for a mesothelioma clinical trial? It depends on your treatment situation, your goals, your risk tolerance, and logistics. Trials do offer access to cutting-edge treatments, close monitoring, and the chance to contribute to research. but they also involve uncertainty, potential side effects, travel burdens, and no guarantee of benefit. Consider trials seriously if you've exhausted standard options or if a particularly promising trial is available. Discuss the issue thoroughly with your oncologist and understand what participation involves. You can visit mesothelioma.net for more information about clinical trials and how to find them. Or call 1-800-692-8608 or use the live chat feature to speak to one of our patient advocates right away. As for me, remember to post your questions below, and I'll see you next time.